Yeah, welcome to my channel. Sorry. I didn't go into specifics last night, with the Knicks Sixers game. You saw what happened. As a Knicks fan, I'm happy. I'm happy as a Knicks fan, quite honestly. But at the same time, did the officiating cause these issues of the Philadelphia Sixers losing the game? Is it the officials' fault, or is it the Knicks pretty much got away with one, basically? It's hard to. Well, I'm not gonna say it's hard to say. Clearly, Maxey was definitely fouled. I'm not gonna deny that. Clearly, he was fouled, but the fact that Larry could have called a timeout beforehand, he didn't. Now he's saying he was calling it. Honestly, he was more of an observer than a guy. You could see in the videos as well. Too. I'm not going to show the videos because I might be, you know, copyright issues and all that stuff. But clearly, when the inbound is going to happen, he's putting his hands up, with the timeout thing. But the officials are not calling him, looking at him directly. He's not making himself noticeable. To like, hey, I need timeout, 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 or screaming timeout. He's just putting his hand like that, and that's it. Probably telling the players, hey, timeout, 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 whatever it may be. That's one aspect. The other aspect is like once Maxi gets the ball, is sort of mugged in a ways. Does he go to the officials and call timeout? By that point, before Maxi falls down, he doesn't. What does he do? He just lets it be until only when does the ball become a little bit free is he calling timeout per se, or going to the officials like timeout, timeout, timeout once the ball is free, in a ways. So that's I'm not saying it's his fault entirely, but as a coach, you're making yourself known. If you're going to call timeout, you're making yourself known, especially in playoff situation, especially at the last couple of seconds. You're making yourself known to the referees. I'm calling timeout, etc. Basically. Now, we can't take away one other big factor. Let's not take away one other big factor. If Vincenzo basically breaks the ball, if Hartenstein doesn't get that rebound and the Sixers get it, chances are they probably win the game. Chances are they win the game. So they had multiple opportunities, put it that way. The Sixers had multiple opportunities to win the game within those last 30 seconds. They didn't. Why so? Because the fact is one, Hartenstein gets that rebound, pushes it off. Vincenzo basically gets the three. Boom. It's done. Other factors, let's be prior to that, Brunson getting the three. They could have stopped him from that perspective with the loose ball. They didn't. And then, mind you, the final 4 or 5 seconds to go, could have called a timeout, let Maxey give it to Embiid then shooting it off from the distance. When the reality is they could have gone in for the win, or even for the win actually, yeah, for the win if they'd gone into the paint. If Embiid had been in the paint, probably passed it to him, and Embiid probably would have dunked it, or probably gotten a quick fadeaway, or a jumper, whatever it may be. He probably would have gotten that ball, and then the Sixers win, and the series is tied 1-1. So I'm not crying over this, quite honestly, as a Knicks fan, because yeah, we won, but at the same time, there are multiple opportunities. Just like with the Lakers. The Lakers had a shot to essentially win that game. They were up by 20. Denver just kept eating away at them. That was, the Lakers. I think Barkley, basically Barkley, Shaq, and Kenny Anderson basically all called it out. Or Kenny Smith all called it out in a ways where you're up by 20 and you're double teaming Jokic. I mean, honestly, the Lakers didn't have to double team him. They could have just played zone defense and kept it within themselves so long as they were getting those shots. But they were double teaming him, giving one man an open shot, which in this case Murray started coming alive in the fourth quarter. So if Jokic isn't double teamed, it might be a different story as well too. So I'll admit those two games yesterday that were on TNT were pretty impressive, pretty good. and I thoroughly enjoyed those two games. As a Knicks fan now, I'll say this: Brunson. It seems like he's not showing up in the playoffs. These first two games, he hasn't been doing much. The Knicks have been fortunate that some of the other role players have been able, especially Hart, has been able to jump in and help out with the Knicks to get them to where they're at. Brunson is not the player that he is in the playoffs compared to what he is in the regular season. So the real question comes down to this is, and we saw this in last year's playoff series as well too. Put it bluntly, I mean Brunson was doing good enough, but when he was against the Cavaliers, if not for Barrett and Quickly, as well as a little bit of Randall, the Knicks would have lost against the Cavs. And we saw what was going on with the Heat. You saw Brunson did as much as he could. So this is why I'm saying that Brunson is not that superstar A1 or tier 1 level player. If he leads the Knicks to the playoffs, I mean not to the finals, at least the Eastern Conference Finals, but more so the finals, and they win, he becomes a tier 1 in my opinion. But right now he's not there because he has to get past all this stuff in the playoffs. He has to show up. So far he's not showing up. We even saw it with the Mavericks as well too, quite honestly. With the Mavericks, he showed up every now and then, but he had Luka. If not for Luka, Mavs would have lost. So this is where Brunson has to step up. Once he steps up, I think we can call him that superstar level. But at this point right now, I'm still calling him a tier 1A rather than a tier 1 star. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I mean, let me know your thoughts. I mean, you're welcome to leave it a comment, whatever it is in the comment section. I do all my comments and I do respond to them when I warrant a response. But I don't know what you want to say. I mean, yeah, I'll admit the Knicks probably robbed the Sixers in Game 2 a little bit, but how much so? Similarly with the Lakers, I mean, if the Lakers play the way they're going to play, we could see Denver winning 4-1. With the Sixers, I'm not as confident per se unless Brunson shows up in Game 3. But I have a feeling what's going to happen is the Sixers are going to blow them out unless the Knicks come show up to the game, not come to the game, but show up to the game defensively speaking, and are able to contain Embiid and Maxey. Then it looks a little good. But reality is the way the Sixers are playing, they're pretty much giving the Knicks these two games. They've given Knicks these two games, and if they don't win Game 3, chances are the Sixers are probably giving away that game as well too. Because let's be blunt, the Sixers are that talented of a team that they should have been the number 2 or number 3 seed. Quite honestly, let's put it that way. They should have been the number 2, number 3 seed. If Embiid doesn't get injured, they're the number 2 seed, hands down. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. If the Knicks get past the Sixers, then yes, I will elevate Brunson, but it depends how Brunson plays against the Sixers. If the Knicks get past the Sixers because of Hartenstein, Vincenzo, and Anunoby as well as Grimes, then I think it doesn't change my opinion with Brunson unless Brunson shows up and starts scoring those 30 to 40 points gains, or at least provides the necessary spark to make the Knicks what they are. I can't call Brunson a tier 1 star just yet. 1A, but not 1. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, as I mentioned. If you like my channel, like my videos, like my content, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, and of course, always unrehearsed. Until next time.